You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
Because of the following special program, Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
I got bad.
It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file.
That doesn't sound too hard.
Boom! This is Making Tracks.
This is the way.
Here are your hosts, Mark Newbold and Mark Mulcaster.
I know these people. They are brutal. Does this look Jedi to you?
That's not how the Force works.
They'll never see it coming.
Count me in.
Misa back.
You're listening to Making Tracks. We're at London Film and Comic Con, Olympia. We're in the spacious Rebel Legion changing area. There are cats swinging everywhere and hitting nothing. I'm with Mark, I'm with Greg. How are you both doing?
I'm very well. Bit hot, but otherwise good. Greg?
And once again, this is great. Didn't undersell the cell service. It is very hard to get out, but I can't wait to go home and tell people what a great time I had here.
So there you go. He can't wait to go home.
Yeah, I know that kind of sums it up this weekend, doesn't it?
It's roasting hot. I mean, it's always warm at Olympia, especially in the summer, but we're really feeling it today.
It is. There's a lot of people in, let's be fair, quite a small-sized hall for Olympia.
Yes.
But there's a lot of signers, and there's a lot of Star Wars signers, so that's not a bad thing.
And I have a question for you, Greg. Now, you being from the other side of the pond, hot in America and hot in Britain are two different things. Have you noticed this?
Well, I would say it was about 20 degrees warmer when I left the States than when I got here. So yesterday was like sunny and in the 70s. And, you know, I was hoping for today's kind of weather, which was overcast, chilly. It was wonderful, especially for those of us who are Husky rebels who are sort of like, yeah, we need air. But I would say it's been pleasant so far. Overall, the weather's been really nice.
And you're enjoying the show so far? I mean, it's your first LFCC?
Yes, first international con, and what I'd say is I love the number of people that were here to like sign, take pictures, and also just seeing the number of people now that I know in the UK. It's been fabulous. So and it's in a circle, so everybody's running to each other. Like you're not going to miss the person you came here maybe to see.
That's a very good point. And like you say, it's two circuits basically, isn't it? You've got the ground floor, you've got the mezzanine, so it's two big circles this time.
Two big circles, which makes it kind of easy to navigate. So,
but we still get lost.
Well, that's only because we try to avoid you, my friend.
So, are we going to go for a walk and talk?
Let's go for a walk and talk.
We're going to talk about the latest news. We will catch up with you shortly, Greg.
Actually, Greg, before you go,
yes,
why don't you tell us a little bit more about Rebel Base Card and where our listeners could find you and listen to you and everything else?
Well, thank you. And so we talk about cards collecting community. It's been a lot more of the breakfast packs now where we talk about like the show recaps and so forth with Greg Cass and I. But if you go to Rebel Base Card on Instagram or any of the socials, you can usually find me and talking about this and that, and this is the kind of stuff that I enjoy because I'm here. We're doing taking audio as well, and it's just really fun. I can't wait to get this show together and to continue to do more. And watching you two work, I'll just say this made my LFCC. So just seeing how the sausage is made.
Well, you see, he's a professional. He remembered to ask, where can we find Rebel Base Card? Yeah. I look at your cool T-shirt with Rebel Base Card on it and don't even think to ask. But you're an industry professional, Mark, so this is why you do it.
It's partly true, but also I think it's about just broadening the community, broadening the Star Wars podcasting and collecting community.
What you wanted to say was, Mark, it's about general basic politeness. I can tell.
Well, yeah, I would say it's podcasting 101, Newbold, but
it really is.
I mean, anyhow,
you know.
Right,
we'll see you in a bit. Right, here we go. We're squeezing out past the Mel Gibson fans and the food area.
Anyhow.
We should talk about Star Wars news, really.
Let's start
as
we
walk
with
around.
some Star Wars news.
Yeah.
What's in the news?
The first thing that comes to mind, it's sad news. Ken Colley passed away this week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that really, really sad.
He's one of those faces, isn't he? He's been around for so long. We've all seen him at numerous conventions.
Yes.
He'd been in ill health.
Mm-hmm.
I know he wanted to get back out and start doing more stuff. And whenever he did, always had a good story. He was always very dry, which I like dry humour.
Yeah, exactly.
but seems so keen to want to talk to people about the experiences that he's had. So again, it's another one of those original trilogy guys that's not with us anymore. It's
I mean, like you said, it's a big loss, I think, for the autograph kind of Star Wars community, especially the OT community.
Big time.
And
especially as you race towards the 50th.
Well, exactly, yeah. And that's the thing, because, like, you think about, like, his character and the fact he's one of the few Imperials that really, we see in 2 films.
Well, that's right. I mean, I know, if I remember from my interview years ago with Julian Glover, he was offered the chance to come back for Jedi and thought, nah, I'm good. I've done my bit. I'm okay. But George Lucas really liked Ken Collins' performance as Piet and liked the character of Piet. And so, as you say, as a consequence, he comes back. Also, I think it makes him one of the very few Imperial officers that you feel Vader actually respected.
I say that's the thing, isn't it? Because I think, at the end of Empire, you kind of think, this dude's not going to make it to another film. There's no way he's going to make it to another film. Because, but then I think he was kind of lucky. He was like maybe able to use circumstance to his own kind of like benefit, because you kind of think that actually when the Falcon jumps to hyperspace outside of like Bespin, you think his card's numbered, and actually that's the thing, isn't it? You can tell from his reaction. He looks like it's done. Yeah. So really sad that Ken has passed, unfortunately. Lovely guy.
Potential good news, though, is that John Watts has been talking about Skeleton Crew, and saying that yes, he would very much like to do more. He kind of backed off it a little bit, in the sense of saying, I probably shouldn't be saying anything because I always get into trouble. And that was enough, certainly, to get people thinking, hey, hang on, there's something going on here. He might have just been verbalising his hopes, but you think somebody in his position, not exactly at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to, cinema and TV, to verbalise that and put that out into the world quite openly, you've got to hope that there's the chance that maybe there is more Skeleton Crew coming.
Well, I tell you what, and we say that as we walk past Robert Timothy Smith's signing desk.
Oh, yes.
Who played Neil in Skeleton Crew Season 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking at the metrics and whether we're trying to work out if it's viable or not, because I think that's going to be the key, isn't it? I mean, I think they're going to have to look at it. But, I mean, there's so much potential in that show to do something like that and hope.
You're like a human sat-nav, Mark. It's incredible.
Oh, mate, no, I'm not. I'm like a human Roomba, I think, bouncing into everything. Yeah, I do think that, there's potential there, and I think there was a lot of kind of goodwill from the fandom and the community for that series. So hopefully it'll come back. I mean, what's your gut say? I mean, or do you reckon it's so hard to tell in this day and age what Disney's thinking?
It is, but also I think because Skeleton Crew, it was made, it was in the can for a long time, then it came out, it seemed to take a while to come out.
Yeah.
But, and bearing in mind, we've just come off the back of Andor, which was pretty much universally loved. But it does feel like, looking back at Skeleton Crew, that people, that's all right, that people really did dig what happened in that show, enjoyed the characters, enjoyed the whole flavour of it. Yeah. And so, coming out now, sort of however many months later after Skeleton Crew happened, thinking, let's do more. I mean, the kids are getting taller. Robert Timothy Smith's visibly taller than when we saw him on Trafalgar Square last year.
Well, that was it. Yes, so that was almost a year ago, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So, there's all of these aspects that feed into, maybe you don't need a show where you get a season every year. Maybe it's the sort of show that you can come back to them every 5 years and do something with them as they move through their lives or careers or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of slightly more of a novel kind of idea. Rather than trying to do what I guess you'd say Stranger Things has done, and the kind of hassle that I think they've had because of it, and even, like you say, Harry Potter. If you were to kind of use it as a snapshot in time and jump every couple of years, that might be quite interesting.
A bit like Andor Season 2, really, isn't it? Every 3 episodes, you're jumping forward a year.
Yeah, exactly. Do you focus on the kids? Yeah. Or do you focus maybe more on the ship?
That's a good idea.
And actually, like, the crew change from season to season.
Yeah.
It's interesting ways, different ways to do it. So.
It's interesting. I think you look at those kids and you Oh, I'm always talking to myself, John. John Barrowman just nudges me. That's very cool. So yeah, I think there's enough in those characters that you could certainly move them forward and do more with them. Fold other characters in if you wanted to. If you wanted to do more with them, and because I think people really kind of love those characters already. There's not one that you love above all others.
No.
Everyone's got their favourite.
I can't. Yeah. I mean, I do kind of feel like more like a teacher, but like you kind of feel like the class in itself works well as a unit, and so I don't necessarily kind of go, oh yeah, I much prefer KB to Neil or something like that, because actually they all have a moment, and I think that comes down to actually how well it was written and actually how thought out it was.
And that's a really good point. When we look back and we did all our reaction chats for season 1, and we look back and thought, when's KB getting a moment? And we waited and we waited and we waited, and when she got a moment, it was so worth the wait.
Yeah.
That it made the whole season feel better for it, that they didn't rush it.
Exactly.
They didn't sort of push it any earlier. I mean, it's not happening. It's not like they're making it in real time. It's locked in the can before the first episode comes out. So it's a done deal. But I appreciated the show because they made us wait.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, it made us care, I think, about the character.
I think so. Have they ever actually said why they kept him McCann for so long? I mean, if there was a specific reason?
Not overtly. I don't think they've said it so on the nose, but I don't know. I think in the long run, I think that actually might work out to its benefit, really. The fact that it didn't get rushed out, it wasn't lost. It didn't get caught in the backwash of something like, and this isn't criticising the show at all, it's just the reaction to The Acolyte, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been very easy for Skeleton Crew to get caught up in that, but it didn't. It feels like its own thing. Andor was different because it was a sequel to, season 1, which was 3 years before, sort of thing. So you can't really compare, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, this is Daniel Jose Older, and you are listening to Fantha Tracks.
So we're back walking around the show, and there's loads of dealer stuff around. How's the show been for you? I mean, it's different format this time. It's a 2-day show rather than a 3-day show.
2-day show. It's kind of compressed
a
little bit in terms of both like time and space.
Yep.
Well, it makes it sound like a Doctor Who convention, really, doesn't it?
Well, we did just have John Barrowman nudging to us a moment ago, so that kind of makes sense.
We should have stopped and asked him about Star Wars.
Really should have done.
That would have thrown him. So it's been good. It's been fun. It's been busy, like really busy. We earlier on, we as in the Rebel Legion inducted Faye Marcy into the club, which was very cool, and she seemed to really be appreciative, and nice little photo and all that. So, So hopefully she'll wear her little gold badge with pride at other conventions.
Let's hope. I mean, do you enjoy that? It's another aspect of what you do with the Rebel Legion. Is like you enjoy the chance to go and induct people that have earned their place in in the broader world of Star Wars.
And I think that's the thing. It is very much like to show our appreciation for the work that they've put in to the franchise that we love. I mean, obviously, it's in some like days like today, it's a little bit stressful because sometimes it's the case of you have to actually go and just buy an autograph and queue up and just do it during your time. Other times you get slightly more orchestrated meet and greets and stuff, which is a nice perk, but we don't do it because we meet people. Like I said, we do it to show appreciation, because ultimately if they know that the fans appreciate their work, then if there's the option for them to return, they're maybe a little bit more likely to return. So
that's a good point. I mean, earlier on I spoke to Gerald Prescott from Ahsoka, one of the Night Sisters. Actrapor, her character's name is. And it was a lovely chat, and really interesting lady. We talked about all sorts of stuff, and obviously Ahsoka. And that very much came out, the fact that you can be in all these different sorts of shows. You can be even in other big franchises like Walking Dead, and she's been in some DC stuff as well. But being in Star Wars is another beast altogether, because it means you can regularly come to events like this. And it just turned out that she's actually very conversational, very chatty, and a really nice lady. And so somebody like her would do really, really well at a show. That's something that not every franchise offers.
No, exactly. And I think also some franchises I think lend themselves to more kind of conversational and easygoing kind of fans and stuff, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, this day and age. I mean, also like, you take Faye, for example, no stranger to like kind of Comic Cons and stuff because she signed with
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So, and I think that also helps because I think sometimes for first timer at a big convention, a busy convention like this, it must be quite overwhelming. I mean, I know when I've actually had to sign with a band.
Yeah.
Actually, just how kind of daunting it is to suddenly see a line of 250 odd people.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, blimey.
They're here for me.
They're here for me. And I hope I don't give them my actual autograph that they can use to forge checks with.
That's a very good point. I always think back, Hamill's autograph now is what, like $700 or something crazy like that. But I've got Hamill's signature because back in the day he signed those cold cast Luke Skywalker statues back in the mid-90s.
Yes, he did.
And it's his signature. It's not his autograph, it's his signature.
Really?
And I just think, wow, how can I parlay that into paying off my mortgage? Or maybe not. I mean, it's just one of those things. Yeah, you're right. I'd love to see your autograph. I've never seen your autograph. That must be interesting.
I'll be honest, my autograph is not good. Even to the fact that when we released the Deal with the Devil 7-inch single that we did, which is the first thing I was on with Elixir, and we signed the first 250 copies. If you looked at the first 10, and you looked at the last 10, totally different signatures. I'm not going to lie, everybody, totally different signatures. I mean, I did every single one, but you suddenly realise when you're sat there and you're going, M.A.
So is it one of those where, when people with really sharp eyes can spot a fake Jeremy Bulloch because the B's wrong?
Yeah.
Is it like all the M's are wrong on yours, or is it,
I think all the M's, because that's the key, all the M's will be correct.
Yeah.
But then the rest of it kind of then just blends together.
Okay.
It's a bit of a, and then in the end I ended up kind of going a bit more like a George Lucas, so kind of like there's an M and then there's just a line.
Just a line, perfect. Perfect.
So.
You've got it nailed.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds, bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
We're here at Blackburn Rovers Football Club, Ewood Park. The game is still going on, which will mean nothing to the people listening to this because it's a podcast, not a football match. But there you go. I'm sat here with Brian. How has the weekend been for you?
It has been absolutely wonderful. This is only my second sign-in meet and greet with people.
Yeah.
I am blown away by the positivity, a lot of love, shout, and the reminder of how amazing the effects of a story can be generationally.
Yeah.
I don't I still think Star Wars is above, say, even Tolkien and even Harry Potter. Some of those will disagree with me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we're talking generations here.
Absolutely.
We're talking, and as I pointed out to you, it's double. Being in Andor was a double thing for me because, showing my age here, 1978, first day, opening day, second showing, Leicester Square Theatre. I was right there, bro.
Yeah.
I was right there with my pocket money. So, I've always been a fan. So to find myself in a story like Andor, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
When you're a fan, you followed it, you were there day one pretty much for a UK fan, and then the career you've had, you've been in so many things, your IMDb list is ridiculous because there's so much on it, and then you come into a genre like this where you can come to an event in Blackburn at a football club and spend a day or two with like-minded people who love what you clearly love.
Yeah.
But you're in Andor, and it's one of those shows that's kind of broken beyond the bounds of general Star Wars. It's just a damn good drama.
Absolutely.
That must have been a joy for you.
It really was. At the time when you're doing it, you realise that you're in something special. Okay? Our section was actually, in fact, the last thing they shot in the series.
Right.
They shot all the rest of the stuff, so we were the last.
Yeah.
And Diego had been on this, journey for only over a year, I think, by that time.
Yeah.
And you could see his determination In every scene, he was there. He was ready, and that inspired you to step up.
Right.
And Andy Serkis. I mean, I didn't know he was going to be until I was there on the first day. I'm thinking, wait a minute, is that Andy Serkis? Oh my God! And then it was like, yeah, but you're up, so you're going to do it. I went, me? Oh, give me a couple of days. Let me just find my feet straight in.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. Very
was that better?
supportive
Was that better because of the tone of what it was? Was that better kind of to be thrown into it than to ease into it, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, I'm thinking either way would have worked, to be honest with you. You just had a feeling that it was a little special. The funny thing was, all the background artists, all the rest of them were in the cells and so on. So every day we used to say hi to each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was almost this incredible bonding session that helped to solidify the story in the terms of the fact that these guys have found themselves in this predicament.
Yeah.
And that's the world that Diego's character enters. And, you know, that now, if we hadn't been able to achieve that, I don't think it would have worked as much. But Guru, the showrunner, he's special because he's a fan of writing.
Yes.
He's a fan of storytelling. As much as Star Wars, but fan of storytelling, I think. Do you know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're saying.
And that's why I think it gave the show a different essence, a different feeling. Even while we were doing, I just felt this is something special, man. The way that everybody gets on.
Yeah.
I'm still in contact with half the guys anyway.
Brilliant.
Do you know what I'm saying? On my table.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Chris Fairbanks is an old mate of mine from back in the day, you know, and he's a legend. Every time they were in between setups, when they were, oh yeah, we're going to set up, it's going to be a while. I'm like, right, Chris will look at me and I'll look at Chris and we'll sneak outside for a fag and a cup of tea, and he'll regale me with his amazing stories. I keep on telling him, brother, you have to write a book. Please write a book, bruv, because the stories you got is amazing. And then we had to wear these gowns, obviously, so that anybody was looking there wouldn't get a thing with you. And I said, I kept my gown. I still walk about in the home and instead of out to the garden. Yes. Hey, I've got this in Andor, you know. But it became a special thing. So even I have to be honest with you, didn't realise the effect it had on the audience.
Oh yeah.
Until I've done something like this, where people, you know, have come from everywhere. Have come from, you know, and come to share time with you and this, that, and the other, and, you know, and they're hard and just be honest.
Yeah.
I'm humbled by that.
Yeah.
And it made me realise how important story is generationally.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when we serve, and that's what we're here to do. This is a story of humanity. It's never been about anything else.
No.
It's beyond that, beyond why.
Yeah, yeah.
Beyond up and down and short and old and everything.
Yeah,
It's the story of humanity. There's only ever been one.
Yeah.
Really. Just what I'm saying. So that, for me, is the most important thing. And I think Star Wars exemplifies that.
Yeah.
We're talking not only cross-generation, we're talking globally.
Oh, totally.
You know, because you were in Japan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
that says it all. Yeah.
Come on. Who does that?
Yeah.
What story that you know?
I can't believe you went, you know.
Yeah, do you know
I can't believe they let me back in.
Without us. I'd love to have gone.
Sorry, Brian, I meant to call you, but...
Have you guys talked about Prospect yet?
Not yet.
Oh, wow. No.
I was a massive fan of that. My wife, who's just over there, was a huge fan of Gimme, Gimme, Gimme.
Oh, was she?
Mandy.
Come here. Hello.
This is great for podcasts, by the way. She's waving just so people know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, huge
fan. Will you say hello? I'm going to come and say hello. Come and say hello. You should have come and bring on. I'm going to sit on the table over there.
Poor Mandy, minding her own business.
Let's get you on the podcast, too.
Reading Women's Realm on the phone.
Absolute pleasure meeting you. Oh, lucky. You're a lucky fella.
I know. Punching above my weight there.
But, you know, I've been lucky enough to been in certain shows that have resonated with the audience on a level that I'm sometimes shocked at. And again, it goes back to the fact of you present good stories.
Yeah.
Stories are the glue that holds our society together.
And what you say about Tony Gilroy is so on the nose because, he's making a Star Wars show, but he wasn't a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
You know, he was a fan of drama, a fan of plot, a fan of consequence, and all the others of character.
Set up, payoff.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I think people, you know, on the Instagram and so on and so forth, have gotten to, I'm like, yeah, Andor and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Yeah, man, you're a legend. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like,
Randy, you enjoy Andor, don't you? Because of the drama of it. You're not a massive Star Wars fan at all.
Well, no, not really.
I can't believe somebody on our podcast said they're not a Star Wars fan.
Oh, no.
I can't be
Emergency.
But Paul, we can't believe she married you.
Thank you. Brian can't believe it.
But I had the same situation with Gimme. If it wasn't for Kathy, I don't even think I would have been in the scenario because she had approached the casting director early doors when they were building the story. And she said, are you seeing any black actors for this bro? And there was a sort of blank stare back. And so she put a couple of names in the pot, and one of them was mine. And we went through a series of meet one person, then meet three people, then meet four, then I met Beth, you know, who played my lovely wife, who was outside. Suze. We're outside having to go in and say, yeah, we'll do this and so and so. So we had a little banter that we could go in there and do, you know what I mean? We walked in, it's like 10 people behind this long table. I mean, talk about intimidation. I'm like, ooh. But we kind of won them over because it's comedy as well. That's a really difficult thing.
Yeah.
We won them over, and then it was just, it grew every day every week we did it because we did it in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
So that the live audience, I think the word of mouth went out. So by the time we did the last one in season 1, place was heaving. Oh, yeah. It was crazy. I was, you know.
So funny.
But again, you know, we had a chance. I think that comedy where we have a chance to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's good for us when we do that.
Oh,
when we try and pick and choose. When we try to push certain agendas and so on and so forth, I think we lose the idea that we're all in it together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, same thing in '78 when I saw Star Wars the first time. When I'm looking in the audience, what am I seeing? I'm seeing for everybody from all over the place, young, old, whatever, all tied together by this story. And who would have known all those years later, it is still the hottest ticket in town, really and truly, and a global level too.
Get yourself to LA in 27.
Bruv, I'm on it. I'm setting up my. If you see me going, need to get to LA.
Brian's got a Kickstarter.
In the street corner, you'll just see me there. Actually, Kickstarter's a good idea, bro. I might have to do that.
Bring your prison garments. We've got some. We'll hang around together. I won't hijack your interview any longer.
It's fine, Paul.
Thank you.
It's fine.
Oh, bless you, Paul.
Sponsored Narkina run.
Lovely to meet you too, my gorgeous. Lovely to meet you. You too, boo. Bye. Oh, man.
Oh, that's brilliant. He loves hijacking interviews.
Well, nice. You too.
It's funny. It's that point of the show where it's all winding down, and the dealers are packing up, and everyone's saying their goodbyes. But it's been a really good weekend. I'm really glad we got to speak as well.
No, me too. Me too. I think it's I'm going to hopefully follow you when you're on
Insta.
Yeah,
so
I'm Insta. Let's do that.
Yeah.
It's a world that I've been a fan of, but not been a part of, and this is I've learned so much. Over this particular period of time. And I just want to know more.
Well,
Brian B's available.
You're part of the family now, mate. So.
Yeah, and I do feel that. I must admit, on this one, I've only done 2.
Yeah.
This is my second thing. And if it wasn't Duncan Powell, bless you, Duncan, shout out to Duncan. Shout out to Chris Fairbanks, Joseph Davis, you know what I'm saying? Our table.
Yep.
I wouldn't have been here.
No.
So... and I'm so glad I came. It was absolutely, it's been a great couple of days.
Brilliant.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're glad you came as well.
Bless you. Yes.
Brilliant.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, may the 4th be with you, always.
Hi, I'm Duncan Poe, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
What else are you looking forward to this year? I mean, we've got what other the Star Wars stuff have we got coming? I mean, Maul's next year, Mando and Grogu's next year. We've got Visions this year.
Visions this year, so that's going to be cool. And isn't there some more Lego, Star Wars Lego.
Yes, there is another Rebuild the Galaxy series coming out.
Yes,
which looks like fun.
I mean, if Lego and Lego Star Wars can't do fun, then I don't know what this world is coming to, because that is basically, those two go hand in hand. So
literally, but don't you find that when they did the last few of those Lego specials, and they were so easygoing, they were so much fun, they were so funny, without being like smash you over the head with the obvious jokes funny.
Yes.
So I'm really pleased that they've actually decided to go back to that and do more of them.
I do like the fact that they tend to. Oh my God, it's just like a crowd of people. I tell you what, I feel like I'm in the middle of Gorman right
Is that
now.
what you feel?
Yeah, I feel like
in the middle of the massacre.
Yeah,
first one to get shot.
Yeah, there's always stormtroopers lining up around this mezzanine. Just about
it is a bit of a kill box, isn't it?
Isn't it
actually, when you look up.
Yeah.
Hello. Quite nervous now. Yeah. If I see a red dot on your forehead.
Sean. Okay.
There you go.
I'm doing everything today.
Everything. Okay.
Oh, very good. That's all right. So we're squeezing through the crowd now, elbowing strangers and apologising.
Garrick Hagan's over there, but he
Garrick,
appeared to be on lunch. Otherwise, we would have gone and chatted to him.
So there are. I mean, just to explain as we walk through, say Garrick Hagan's there, and there's all sorts of folks from different shows everywhere. Robert Strange is there, who did some bits in Star Wars, and looking to my right, there's Faye Marsay over there, Alex Ferns, who famously got his head caved in with an iron on EastEnders, which was fun. Ron Perlman, who's was Garnact, wasn't he, in Clone Wars?
Yes, he was.
Yeah?
Yes.
So there's peripheral connections everywhere we look.
I can say that's the thing, like you walk down this aisle, and it's like, right, how many of these people haven't been in Star Wars at some point?
That's true. I bet if you actually looked at it and had a real good look at what folks have done, there's probably a connection in more places than you realise.
Yeah.
Brian Blessed, of course.
Brian Blessed, yeah. Has John Barrowman yet? No.
But
he would. I think he'd work pretty well, wouldn't he?
Definitely. And we can kind of say he was on our show.
Yeah.
Kind of. But not quite.
Not quite.
No, there's loads of connections. And of course now Pinewood is the home of Star Wars for TV and for film. You know, there's so many more actors now over time who will drop into Star Wars, drop into projects.
Yeah.
Come to events like this,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, it's inevitable, really, when you think about it. You know, Star Wars being kind of as evergreen as it is at the moment, and you know, with productions constantly being greenlit and rolling, that's the thing. You don't want to end up having returning actors doing different characters when there's such a massive pool of fantastic talent out there.
Exactly. I mean, puppeteers and those guys, they can do as many characters as required, because that's a different kind of skill. That's in imbuing a puppet or a droid or whether with a bit of soul, but as you say, face characters, face actors.
That's the thing, because you don't want that whole kind of, hey, wasn't that guy in that
unless
one?
You're Tamira Morrison playing Django, that's different.
Yeah, but that's kind of written into like for canon, isn't it? When you think about it, so you know you can get away with that, but you know when random day actor, I'll tell you what, it's like James Bond when you get returning actors who kind of play multiple characters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it doesn't matter how much you kind of put that to one side. You're always like, hang on a sec, but they were, you know, whoever in that other film.
Yeah.
Stuff, you know, so.
But do you think now that, you know, we're approaching the 50th, we know there's movies coming. You know, we've got Starfighter start shooting fairly soon. We've got Mando and Grogu out next May.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Season 2's filming right now. So we know there's plenty of stuff coming. Again, Maul, Shadow Lord's coming next year, so animation gets going again. So it's kicking on three fronts. Do you think we're in a good spot now for finding a new era and moving forward into new stuff?
I feel like, we're kind of in this transitional period, because I do kind of start to feel like now that Andor Season 2 has wrapped up, that it kind of feels like, really, what else can you really explore in that
era?
Yeah, in that time period, that I think will feel fresh and new to the average kind of like viewer.
Yeah.
You know? And obviously, I guess the more content you have in that compressed time period, the more complicated it's going to get.
True.
I feel like the harder it will probably be to feel accessible to the more average viewer.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point, because you're going to have actors at different ages, and you know, technically it's going to be tricky to fit things in.
Yeah, you know, and I kind of feel like if you explore every corner of the galaxy, if you turn over every single stone, then there is certainly a kind of a level of like magic that's kind of lost with that. Like if you can explain everything, as like how the Empire did every little instance from going from becoming the Chancellor all the way through to running the Galactic Empire, and then creating the Death Star. If you explain all that away,
where's the mystery?
Yeah, where's the mystery? Where's the kind of fun of also where's the fun of speculation?
That's very true. I mean, that is, we've said this loads of times, part of the fuel of Star Wars is the speculation, is the, what ifs and maybe this or maybe that. It's if you tell too many stories. That's why maybe, those gaps in Andor doesn't hurt Andor at all, does it?
No, it doesn't. I think you're perfectly right. I think by just giving it a bit of breadth and space, I think it helps. And you kind of hope that they're like everybody in the the licensee space is a bit savvy to that. And I mean, I do get it, and I do appreciate the fact that like if you've got like a weekly publication schedule, like say Marvel Comics has, you're going to be desperately trying to find ways to kind of fill that content up.
Yeah, they want to dive into those gaps.
Exactly, because it's kind of like it's there for the taking. But
I suppose, and to your point, I suppose you can, but not necessarily with the lead characters. You don't necessarily need to know what Cassian and Bix were doing, but you can tell stories of the missions that General Draven was leading if you want.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean that would be the thing. Like where was Dodonna and Merrick at the end of season 2 of Andor? What were they doing? That sounds like it could be interesting. Could they be like there, I don't know, trying to bring in Mon Cal fleet or something like that? Or there's definitely angles you can do it. And there's ways of fitting it in so you don't feel like you have to then watch and listen and read everything to get the full story. I think it's time to look at a new era. Try it and see what happens.
Well, I think with Starfighter being set 5 years after Episode 9, the Rey film, possibly films being 15 years after, it does feel like Disney post 50th anniversary are going to step into that really into that sequel trilogy era.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe there might be a bit of a push to kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, kind of stamp put the ownership on Star Wars in that kind of way, and kind of and I think we kind of start to see that, didn't we, with like this is the end of Skywalker Saga with like Episode 9, kind of trying to draw a line underneath it and move away from, I guess, from the past. I think it's time to be looking forward. Okay, well, I think that is all we have got time for today, because it's still early on in the afternoon of Saturday of London Film Comic Con, so we've still got plenty of stuff to do across the whole weekend. So thank you very much for listening. And Mark, can you let everybody know how they can get in touch should they have a listener's thought, theory, question or complaint?
I definitely can, and here's how you do it.
Email radio@fanthatracks.com. Head to links.fanthatracks.com for links to our social media feeds, Fantha Tracks TV and Fantha Tracks Radio. Thanks to James Semple for the Fantha Tracks intro, Blues Harvest for our Making Tracks opening music, and Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceovers. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 o'clock UK time. Our weekly news show Good Morning Tatooine goes live Sundays at 9 o'clock UK time on Facebook and YouTube. And remember, Fantha Tracks is absolutely free, so it costs nothing to stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news.
And that's what you've done for this episode, Mark.
Brilliant. Nice one, mate. I'm off to go and buy some plastic fantastic figures from Dave Trier, all the cool stuff.
Yes.
And he's already promised me he's going to give me at least a 90% discount.
90?
90. He just doesn't realise it yet. So for this week, stay safe, take care, and may the Force be with you.
Coming up next on Fantha Tracks Radio, it's Desert Planet Discs.